Hello, I'm Mitzi Robinson. I'm with Bulliray. This is a company I started back in 1993, so the company's been around for 31 years, and we train employees how to defend themselves from aggressive dog attacks. My background is in aggressive dogs, and so that's why I go in there and I train employees, actually over 500,000 employees, how to defend themselves when they're in the field. And so that's my background. I thought by now, 30 years later, there would have been a lot of people out there telling, helping you with your dogs when they get attacked by other dogs or when, you get attacked. But I think the biggest problem that we have in this country is that we have humanized dogs to the point where now it's dangerous because nobody understands the drives: prey drive, defense drive, food drive, sex drive. They don't understand the drives. They keep looking at dogs and looking at them as human. Well, you take a strong predatory drive dog like a pit bull, like I said, not all pit bulls, but like, a certain pit bull, and you start treating it as a human, you're going to regret it. And so I think that's one of our biggest problems. We need to elevate our education of canine behavior in this country. We're going to go to Seattle and we're going to see a video that's going to basically show a pit bull going after what looks like a Labradoodle who's terrified. And so we're going to break it down and explain to you what she should have done before she left the house. And then also, what are your options out there? What can you take with you? What can you carry? How can you stop this attack? How can you stop another dog from killing your dog? So we're going to talk about all that and hopefully answer any questions that you might have.
This is where at least one of those attacks happened. And according to a Seattle police report, the owner of that pit bull was heard saying, "Let him do his thing," while her dog was attacking other people's pets. And that owner is accused of trying to stop other people from intervening. A video posted to Reddit shows the traumatic scene unfolding in broad daylight. Car horns blaring and the dog whimpering as a terrified owner fights to save their beloved dog. According to a police report I obtained, the pit bull terrorized Dexter Avenue throughout Friday by attacking several other pets. When police arrived, they said the owner of the aggressive dog was 30-year-old Sydney Kelly. Documents state Kelly told police she did not have the pit bull on a leash because, quote, "It's not a dog, it's the Chupacabra."
You're walking your dog when another dog suddenly attacks. Your dog is under fierce attack. You will probably go into shock, but you want to save your dog. To do this, you need to be prepared before you leave the house. And that was the problem. As you can see, when the dog attacked, the owner immediately started lifting up her dog and swinging it around, basically allowing the pit bull to bite and grab the dog anywhere it wanted. So the pit bull had a huge advantage. I understand the owner wants to save her dog, but unfortunately what she's doing is she's making the dog even more attractive to the attacking pit bull. And so, we want to make sure that we understand before we leave the house, we need to be prepared. And what I mean by that is you need to, have everything you need. So if this happens, you'll be able to save your dog, because in most cases, like in this case, you have a nutty owner who isn't going to do anything. So you need to be prepared to have like a taser, a stick, something, so that you can defend your dog. The taser is the best thing to have because it's going to be, something that you can carry. You can clip it onto your belt, and then usually 99% of the dogs out there are going to stop as soon as they see or hear that arc of electricity that's going across the top of that taser. We always say in training, electricity is the great equalizer when it comes to, dogs that don't want to do what you want them to do. Especially in when you're working with police dogs or protection dogs. So, that's something, and, this is something that you can get off of Amazon. It costs $40 to $60. You can probably even get it for less than that, but it's so effective. And to walk the streets without one is crazy, especially when you have a dog that's this intent on, grabbing your dog and killing it. Remember, this dog is not playing. This dog is trying to grab your dog. It's going to, it's basically a dog that has high predatory and defensive drives, and this dog wants to kill this other dog.
Because that's literally right here. That would be probably 10 feet away from us.
Alyssa Maenza lives right near where the attack happened. She tells me she saw the same dog owner in a similar situation on the same day.
The dog was off leash and out of control. She was just kind of screaming and running around, following it, but then not grabbing him. And then she would intermittently grab him and then let him go.
You know, that's the worst thing is when you've got owners that are hell-bent, are basically being entertained by their dogs, whether it's attacking people or other animals. I mean, you got a real problem. And that's the reason animal control's got to be, you know, they're going to have to be supported more by the county or the city council. And in most cases, you know, people get really mad at animal control. Well, animal control can't do anything unless the city council or the county commissioners get involved and say, okay, here's more money so that you can do more patrol. Here's more money so you can go out and pick up all of these dangerous dogs. Here's more money for building more kennels so we can house these dangerous dogs somewhere. And then most cities need a dangerous dog law. And most cities don't have that. In other words, they just, you know, they wait until something really bad happens, like someone gets killed or mauled, and then they want to make it specifically against pit bulls or specifically against Rottweilers. And these dogs are not the only dogs who bite people. I mean, you've got plenty of, dogs out there that bite people, but because there's so many breeds out there that look like a pit bull, they just blame everything on pit bulls. And that's just not, that's just not fair. And it's just not right because you've got plenty of pit bulls out there that are extremely docile, extremely social, wouldn't hurt somebody or another dog if their life depended on it. Sure, you've got some pit bulls out there. There's a throwback to their gameness and their fighting days where these dogs are extremely dangerous. But the people usually know about it. And by allowing these dogs to go out there and actually attack another dog, they're building that drive. And when they build that drive, they're just making the dog more and more dangerous. And that's why these kind of dogs, especially when they have owners that aren't responsible, these kind of dogs need to be taken into the shelter, into the animal control facility and euthanized. Even if you put the dog up for adoption and it goes to another home, we already know this dog is dangerous. We already know this dog has a propensity to kill another animal. And unfortunately, when a dog is like this, if you get between that dog and what it wants, it's going to turn on you. And so this is the type of dog that is extremely dangerous and that we've got to be throwing money at to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe.
Emotions go pretty high because I've experienced this myself with my own dog. And it's a really scary situation. Unfortunately, as you can see in the video, nobody really knows how to respond. It's just chaos.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Here you have a situation where your dog, this is your pet, a member of your family is being viciously attacked by another dog or dogs. And you're at the moment trying to figure out what to do. Well, at the moment isn't going to work. And so, that's the worst part about this is like I said, you've got to be prepared before you leave the house or just don't take your dog out. We do classes all the time. And I tell the people in our classes, and I've told thousands of people, don't walk your dog if you have dogs in your neighborhood that you think are dangerous. I mean, it's like walking a hot dog down the street saying, hot dog, anybody want a hot dog? Especially little dogs. And so, we've got to make sure that people say, okay, do I really need to take this dog out? If I do I have a taser? If I do, they've got these great uniforms for the dogs to wear, harnesses that, cover the neck and back of the dog with spikes. So at least that way, when another dog bites down on that dog, he's going to get a mouthful of metal, which is going to hurt. And that's going to make him let go of your dog. So there are things to do. And like I said, taser, stick, put spikes on your dog. Don't carry pepper spray. I hear a lot of people telling the public to carry pepper spray. Don't do that. First of all, more than likely it's going to come back on you. It's a spray, which means all you need is the wind to be blowing in the right direction. And now you've got this stuff in your eyes. You can't see. It's in your throat. You can't breathe. And you're still trying to save your dog from being attacked by another dog.
According to Seattle Animal Control, there were 637 dog attacks last year in Seattle. Those numbers include dog on human, and dog on other animal attacks. And that total number is actually low because it does not account for incidents where no cases are created. For instance, when an owner leaves before investigators arrive, and does not include cases that Seattle police exclusively responded to. like Friday's attack.
The biggest issue is like there's just a lack of education from dog owners all across the board, even like the happy-go-lucky dogs. I think that there's a lot of dog owners that just don't really understand like the basic necessities for owning a dog.
And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we help you understand your dog, the people, the dogs that you're coming in contact with every day when you walk your dog, but also how to defend yourself and how to protect yourself and your pet. But one of the biggest things is that, what we've learned is that most people, like this gentleman says, they don't know a lot about dogs. They love their dog. It's their pet. It's part of their family. But it really, when the dog is showing them exactly what the dog is, but because they're not educated on drives, on knowing what they're looking at as far as what kind of aggression are you dealing with, what kind of drives are you dealing with, and am I making it worse by elevating those drives? And so a lot of people don't know, what they're doing when it comes to, especially when you go out and you get a pit bull or you get a Rottweiler or a German Shepherd or a Blue Heeler, all of these dogs that are known for strong predatory and defensive drives.